All right, Maverick family, welcome back to the show. Oh man, we got a hot one today. Listen, if this is your first time here, the name of the show is called the Maverick Conservative. I am your host, MC. Listen, these ladies from the View, I like to call them the View crew. They have lost their everlasting mind, especially Whoopi. This Whoopi has lost her freaking mind. We got to get into this article where Whoopi actually loses her freaking mind. She's getting into talking about God and transgenderism and how God says it's okay and a whole bunch of other nonsense. Man, let's just go ahead and get into the article so you can see what I'm talking about. Lunacy ran rampant on the set of ABC's The View on Thursday as the liberal cast was up in arms over the Republican-controlled House in Montana, barring a transgender lawmaker after he disputed official proceedings. They falsely claimed that there were no rules of law of decorum that the lawmaker needed to follow. And moderator Whoopi Goldberg shouted about how God was really clear in the Bible that kids needed to have access to so-called gender-affirming care. I'm an amateur in the Bible. I don't know where it says that at, but let's go ahead and continue. The article goes on to say, now the House Republicans banned her from the chamber for the remainder of the legislative session, claiming that she broke the rules of decorum. But protesters are demanding to let her speak. Goldberg sneered following a soundbite of the trans representative Joey Zephyr. You guys tell me in the comments how to pronounce this biological male's name. Zooey Zephyr. Let's just go with Zooey, claiming Republicans have blood on their hands. Okay, that's really interesting. Let's just go ahead and get into. Let's go ahead and get into the video. These ladies have really lost it. They've lost their minds. Let's get into the video.
Republicans banned her from the chamber for the remainder of the legislative session, claiming she broke the rules of decorum. But protesters are demanding that they let her speak. Now, what the hell is going on in this country? That's what I want to know.
What are the rules of decorum?
What are the rules that say, I don't like what you're saying, so I'm going to get a whole bunch of people to think like I think, and we're going to ban you from talking.
Honestly, Whoopi, that actually sounds like cancel culture to me, which I assume that you're for since you're part of the mainstream media at this point. The View has actually turned into a political show. It's far from what it was when it first started, right? That's what the left is all about. Right? If you say something that hurts someone's feelings or that they don't agree with, they all get together and they come to ban you. That's what cancel culture is all about, isn't it, Whoopi?
When did that become the law of the land?
You should ask, because I looked it up and there is no law.
No.
No. What's this person's name? It's not Joy. Sonny. Sonny went to law school, I think. Listen, this is a House chamber. It's not a law. It's a rule. There are rules that need to be followed in the chamber. And you went to law school. You should know the difference between a law and a rule, right? You should know this, Sonny. This is what I'm talking about. The View crew has lost their mind. They've lost their mind.
No,
there is no law. There is no law.
The whole point of this country is we have to figure out how to live together. I don't have to agree with everything you agree with. You don't have to agree with everything I agree with. That's why we have two parties. That's why we have these conversations.
Don't you want someone from the transgender community in the legislature?
The answer to that, Sonny, is a hard no. We do not want biological males who identify as women or people who have gender dysphoria, let me just say it that way, to be nowhere near the government making rules for the rest of it. So the answer to that is no. Hard pass on that, Sonny.
To speak to her lived experience.
But my God, this is a party that says we believe in parents' rights. Mm-hmm. You're telling me that as a parent, I'm not smart enough to decide if my child and I need to have gender affirming. Our doctors are not involved. What is going? So I can't decide what my kid reads. I can't decide for my child what my child says is going on.
Yep.
You're telling. I actually got to stop here for a second. I'm going to let the rest of the video play, but I just want to go ahead and say it's. I mean, as a parent, right, you can decide what your child wants to read in your house, right? But you don't get to decide that, you know, children need to be reading about explicit sex acts inside of the books that are supposed to be in our children's library. No, Whoopi, you don't get a chance to decide that, right? If you're a parent, you do that at home. You control whatever your child reads at home. But for our children in public school, that stuff doesn't need to be in public school. It has no place there.
Telling me your beliefs, and they keep saying it, and I keep saying, what Bible are you reading?
Yeah.
Because God was really clear.
Very clear. Very clear.
Conversation is the last step before violence. And now to shut down the one voice you have in this house who is transgender is problematic.
All right, guys, you got a chance to see the complete lunacy of the View crew and their overlord, Whoopi Goldberg, as she flips her lid talking about how God is okay with transitioning kids. Apparently, God said it's okay, right? The Bible is very clear, right? Apparently. I'm going to go ahead and get into my final thoughts and wrap this up. I don't watch much TV, but if I did, it wouldn't be The View or any show like it. The View is just like the mainstream media, full of lies and misinformation. All of the hosts reacted pretty strongly to the fact that there was a biological male who was kicked out of the Republican-controlled House in Montana for disrupting proceedings. Whoopi went as far as to bring religion into the conversation, falsely claiming that God was clear, suggesting that somehow God would be okay with gender-affirming care for children. Now, I'm an amateur when it comes to the Bible, but I believe it's inappropriate to use religious beliefs to promote a political agenda that advocates for the mutilization of children's reproductive organs under the cloak of healthcare. Whoopi, you can kick rocks with flip-flops on that note. Whoopi and the radical left View crew also suggested that Republicans were somehow banning free speech, and that isn't remotely true. You see, there's consequences for breaking decorum. Lawmakers got to follow the rules just like everybody else. When Sunny stated that there were no laws for breaking decorum, that only served to push her own political biases. Whoopi also gets a fat L for her misguided attempt to educate Republicans on parental rights. You see, here's the thing. It's not a matter of intelligence. It's about protecting children from potentially harmful medical procedures. We do slightly agree on one thing, though. Parents should have the right to decide what's best for their children, but not when it comes to irreversible medical procedures. Lastly, as I stated earlier, I'm an amateur in the Bible, but Whoopi's criticism of those who use the Bible to oppose transition surgery for children was some straight up bullshit. But let me know what you think. Was Whoopi out of line? Let me know what you think in the comments. And make sure you like and subscribe to this video. It's the only way to force YouTube's algorithm to push this content to other like-minded individuals. And also, don't forget to tell a friend to tell two friends about the Maverick Conservative.